Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Suraj in Cloud. With this video, I'm going to start a series called Cloud Heist. This idea came to my mind this morning as I was watching the last season, which is part 2 or volume 2 of part 5 of Money Heist. So, yeah, I got this idea of Cloud Heist. So, let's see what Cloud Heist is and what we are going to do in it. Stay tuned. Nice. What is Cloud Heist? So, within the series, all we are going to cover all the managed Kubernetes service. We are going to see their cost and how easy it is to deploy a particular application. So we will try to cover as much cloud Kubernetes managed Kubernetes offering out there. So if you have any suggestion, do let me know into the comment. So the idea of this came back to my mind few days before when I tweeted, does anyone know like the low cost managed Kubernetes provider? Because I wanted to deploy some of my personal hobby projects onto the cluster, but I don't want to take care of those Kubernetes cluster. So I was wondering if there are any low cost alternative, and the unanimous answer to this tweet was Civo Cloud. And I went on to the Civo Cloud, and it's they are giving $250 free credit for a month to try out. So I thought it's okay, we can try it out and see how that goes. And they also say they are blazing fast launch time for their Kubernetes, which is within 90 seconds. And they also claim that they are world's first managed Kubernetes offering based on K3s, which is very lightweight Kubernetes distribution. And they also say developer experience is simplified. And the main important part for me is the price, which is just $4 a month for a beginning. So I signed up for this, but in this video, let's go into the my account and see how easy it is to spin up an account. In upcoming videos, we'll cover various aspects of it. We'll try to deploy an application as well. We will try to do more stuff around it and see how that goes. But as I said, the important aspect for me is the ease of use and the price. Okay, so as they said, it is less than a 90 second, which is literally less than a Maggie. A Maggie says 2 minutes, but it takes around 5 minutes to make the Maggie, right? So let's see how fast this cluster is, because in my experience, EKS takes ages to start up. So I'm excited to try it out. Let's see how that goes. Interesting. So this is my Civo account, and as I said, the Civo Cloud is very generous, give us $250 for a month. Let's try it out. So if you go onto the Civo dashboard for Kubernetes, very simple dashboard, no additional things, and you simply click on create new cluster. Now you can use their CLI tool as well, which is pretty cool, but we can cover that in some other video. Now this series is called Cloud Heist. So let's name our cluster after the Cloud Heist. How many instance? Let's say for now we'll do 2 instance. We'll see if needed we can scale it up later. Now the next thing is network. Now I have already created the network. I'll show where we can do that. So if you go under the manage section over here, you will see there is a network section, and you can create a network here. There's no additional configuration here. You simply say create network and name of the network. That's it. it's just the network. It just create the network similar to how you do VPC in AWS or any other cloud. And let's go back to our Kubernetes. Okay, that thing is gone. Cool, no problem. We will again do it. So cloud heist, we selected our network. As we selected the network, one thing to mention here is we are not mentioning any CIDR or anything or any additional network configuration. We just provide the name. What interesting thing here is the firewall means for this network what will be the rules, as in the security group rules which we define in AWS. Similar to that you can define under this firewall. So while testing, I already created one firewall with Suraj in cloud. You can check all the rules. You can add as much as rules as you want. So I added few important rules such as SSH port and like 8080 6443 is needed for the Kube API server, and few other ports for my application. So once you have the network under this manage section and the firewall which will be resembled to that particular network, as you can see here in this column, this particular firewall is associated with this network. And once you go inside the rule, you can add more rules as well. Way easier than this is the way easier thing I have seen ever. So now we know that we have the network and firewall in place. Let's go back to our Kubernetes and let's try to launch our cluster. And meanwhile our cluster is launched, we can explore other options. So cloud heist, as I have said, 2 instance. Let's select our network Suraj in cloud. Let's select my firewall as well. Now as you can see the size, and when it's, as you can see the extra small instance which has 1 CPU and 1 gig of RAM and 15 GB of storage and 1 TB of transfer, which is bandwidth, cost only $4 a month. Now interesting thing here is, unlike other cloud providers, you don't need to pay the cost of control plane. So I'm literally paying for my nodes. So it's fair deal if I want to do my hobby projects. So but now I have free credits which I can spend. I'll go for large instances, which will, even though it will cost $64 a month, right? So because I selected 2 instances, the $32 per month, which will give me 4 CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, 15 GB of storage and 4 TB of transfer. Now you can also see monthly or hourly charges, as you see. Now one more interesting thing is the marketplace. Now this marketplace is open source, it's on GitHub. You can add your project of your choice you want. Basically what this is, whatever you select, it will get automatically installed on our kube cluster when it gets started. So as you can see, by default it selects traffic and metric server, but in my cluster I am not worrying about the metrics and I am not worried about the traffic as well. But in my future videos I might be worried about the ingress controller which I will need. So I will prefer nginx ingress, which will be under architecture. So let's select the nginx. And I will also need cert manager in future. I'm not going to go into detail now, but let's select it for now. Nginx and cert manager I have selected, and I can just create the cluster. But as you can see, you can select store database specific services, storage specific, or there are few CI/CD such as Argo, and some monitoring related. All it will do is it will create a new namespace and install that particular service, which is ready to use as the server as the cluster is up. Nice. So let's create our cluster. Now, as you can see, the countdown begins from 120 seconds, which is literally 2 minutes, which Maggie says. Nice. So meanwhile the cluster is up, you can see it is showing few things over here like API endpoint and some other things. And as I selected two nodes, it is showing me two K3s nodes are coming up, right? Which I can scale up and scale down later. I can create new pool as well if I want. Nice. So meanwhile the cluster is up, let's go around and see what other things are there. So on the dashboard you can see your costing or invoice or like activity stuff. This dedicated Kubernetes tab where you can see your list of clusters and specific information. And there is a academy as well where you can learn about basic Kubernetes concepts and how you can use them. It's pretty interesting, like you can learn at the same place and try it out as well. And there's this interesting cube quest which might be good for beginner, where you follow the quest and you learn with the quest as well, which is pretty cool. So along with the Kubernetes, it also gives us ability to spin up the instances on which maybe you can spin your own service, which is, let's say, can't be run on Kubernetes or some other thing which you want in the same network, you can. So basically, if I see, I'm not going to create, but I'm just having a look. It's kind of similar price range about the what we get for cube nodes. As you can see, with this extra small, you're getting 1 CPU, 1 gig of RAM, 25 GB of SSD, and 1 TB of transfer for $5 a month, which is fairly cheap, pretty good. And you have options for Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, I guess, and few other things. Interesting. So you can spin up the instance as well, which is pretty cool. Then we already discussed about the network. There's nothing fancy in the network. All the fancy thing lies in the firewall. Nice. And there is one more thing. It's where you can add your own DNS. Now I have my own testing DNS called surajimcloud.click, which I have added here. You can add further DNS rules here, which we will discuss in our next video, where we will deploy and expose our application. But this is basically equivalent of Route 53, but much simpler. You can add your SSH keys, pretty similar. You can manage your volumes over here for your instances, and there's some contents and the billing and setting. Fairly simple and straightforward dashboard, very easy to navigate. Let's go back to our Kubernetes, and as you can see, I was just going through the other things and our Kubernetes cluster is up as well. You can see it is having my network, my firewall, and all other important things. Now I can click here to download the kubeconfig file, which I will download here. Nice. That's pretty cool and fast, right? Now let's quickly jump onto the machine and see if we can do it. Interesting. So we already have the file here. Let's export the kubeconfig equal to Civo, and nice. You can easily connect as well. Now since I'm in the I'm in London, and the thing I chose was, oh, not this, wrong, wrong tab. Okay, so basically I forgot to mention here, currently they have data centers in UK, in London, United States NYC, which seems New York, and Germany, which is Frankfurt, I guess. So I selected London, so the latency wise things are good. Nice. Okay, cool. So kubectl get knows there's my 2 node cluster. I can check namespaces, and as you can see, there is a cert manager and ingress nginx namespace. If you remember, I have mentioned the ingress and the cert manager from the marketplace. I selected them, so it deployed. Now if I can see in my cert manager thing, it is there, well and good. And if I see stuff in my ingress nginx, it is there. Now one more interesting thing, we didn't see any load balancer thing in the UI, but when you spin up the ingress with the load balancer service, it automatically creates the load balancer for us. As you can see, usually we expose the ingress controller service with the load balancer, which is here, and it has this IP as well. Basically it automatically spin up a load balancer itself, which we don't see in the console, but it's there, and we can use this IP to put into the DNS settings and configure the things. Right, so this is it. So this was a very quick overview of Civo Cloud. I am in totally love with Civo Cloud. It's very easy and fast to deploy the Kubernetes cluster, and even the deploy the applications. Now things in this video I have done things with console, but there's very nice Civo CLI as well, which we will see in upcoming videos. And there is a Terraform provider as well to manage those things, which is really cool. So thank you so much for watching this video. In next video we'll cover how we can deploy and expose an application, which will give us an idea, end-to-end idea of right from spinning the cluster, and how you can deploy the application, how you can secure the application, and all sorts of that. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Bye.